Well, good morning, everyone. It is a privilege and honor to be with all of you today. So, in a time where, because of climate change, we are getting 30-year storms every 30 days, it seems. We are seeing devastation around the globe, which is causing tremendous challenges around the world. We also are living in unsettled times with gun violence being a pervasive issue across this country and being a scourge in our society. So in order to combat all of that, every local jurisdiction must be prepared. And we are fortunate in Montgomery County to have extraordinary leaders in the community, such as the Red Cross, and in the Office of Emergency Management here at the local level, who are thinking day and night about how to make sure the county is best prepared to help tackle some of these challenges. But in the midst of all of that, it reminds us that we each must play a role, not just in supporting these important institutions, but being prepared ourselves at home, having extra water, having extra supplies in the event of a disaster. I now turn it over to Councilmember Jawando to make some opening comments, and then I will turn it over to Dr. Earl Stoddard to make some comments on behalf of the county executive. Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you, Council President, and good morning, everybody. Happy National Preparedness Month. And I couldn't agree more with Council President's comments. Each September, we recognize this month and highlight the importance of preparing for disasters and emergencies that could happen at any time. Boy, have we lived through that over the last several years, whether it's natural disasters, obviously violence, but in certainly the COVID pandemic. I think, all of us have had Dr. Stoddard's number, much to his family's chagrin, on our speed dial. There's been so much going on. Him and his team have done an excellent job. This year's legacy is called a lasting legacy. The life you've built is worth protecting. Each year, National Preparedness Month has a theme. And I think that's appropriate because we learned during the pandemic and all the surrounding, and we're still learning that the family, the community we build is worth protecting. And we need to have prevention and mitigation and preparedness and response and recovery. And we're kind of in a little bit of all of those stages, depending on the issue at some point or another. So really appreciate the emphasis here, partnering with the county executive. We're blessed in Maryland to have one of the 10 safest states for natural disasters. But that doesn't mean we still don't have to be prepared. So thank you, Dr. Stoddard. I want to thank your entire team, the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, and all the members of the community organizations who are here. The collaboration, it's a partnership. We can't do this alone. We all have to play a role. The private and nonprofit organizations, you see my Sisters of Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated, looking great in their red. And they're a member of the COAD, the Community Organizations Active in Disasters, the COAD. And so thank you to their president, Lynn Miller-Rowe, and members of their team. So now I'd like to pass it on to Dr. Stoddard.
Good morning, and on behalf of County Executive Mark Elrich, I want to thank the County Council and in recognizing National Preparedness Month. Even now, as we stand here today, we have a hurricane that has impacted the island of Puerto Rico. Millions of people are without power. There are rescues, there are hospital evacuations. This serves as a stark reminder for all of us that we have a responsibility to be prepared for disasters, not just for ourselves, not just for our families and our friends, but also we recognize that in our community there are many people for whom preparedness is it's not a luxury that they can afford. And so we have a responsibility as those of us who can afford and who can make the measures to do so that the resources of the government, of the nonprofits, and of others are dedicated to serving those who can't protect themselves. And so we have a social responsibility to be prepared, not just a luxury or a thing you should do. And so as we recognize National Preparedness Month, I do want to join the council in recognizing all the partners that we have here, not just within government. I see in the audience our Director of Health and Human Service and our Health Officer. Preparedness has meant a lot more over the last several years than it would have previously as we deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and its after effects. But also we have numerous nonprofit organizations who step up routinely during emergencies and provide resources, and we would not be able to do it without them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the members here to just introduce themselves.
Hi, Mary Ann Souders, Acting Director of Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Morning, Tina LeBoy, Acting Planning Division Chief, Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Patrick Fleming, Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
I feel like a game show host.
Pearl Parker, Emergency Response Team Chair, Montgomery County Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority.
Bessie Henderson, Emergency Response Team, Montgomery County Alumni Chapter.
Donna Cawley, co-chair of the Emergency Response Team of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, the Montgomery County Alumni Chapter.
Lynn Miller Rowe, President, Montgomery County, Maryland Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
All right, Deltas are in the house. All right, the Councilmember Jawando and I will now read the proclamation.
All right.
Why don't you kick us off, Councilmember Jawando, and I'll
Sure.
pick it up after you.
Sounds good. And sorry, Dr. Stoddard, I know you have a new position, but you're forever etched in my mind but the acting director is doing well, but that's part of the pandemic. Whereas National Preparedness Month creates an important opportunity for every resident of Montgomery County, Maryland, to prepare their homes, businesses, and communities for any type of emergency, including natural disasters and human-caused disasters. And
whereas investing in the preparedness of ourselves, our families, businesses, and communities can reduce fatalities and economic devastation in our communities and in our nation. And
whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency's READY campaign and other federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, private, and volunteer agencies are working to increase public activities in preparing for emergencies and educating individuals on how to take action. And
whereas the Montgomery County Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security's year-round focus is resident preparedness for resiliency during and after emergencies. And
whereas the Community Organizations Active in Disaster, COAD, focuses on continuous preparedness to support the community in the event of an emergency. And
whereas emergency preparedness is the responsibility of Montgomery County, and Maryland residents are urged to make preparedness a priority and work together as a team to ensure that individuals, families, and communities are prepared for disasters and emergencies of any type. And
whereas all residents of Montgomery County are encouraged to participate in preparedness and participate with the COAD and become more prepared themselves.
Now, go ahead. Take us home, Councilmember Jawando.
Now, therefore, do we, County Executive Mark Elrich, Council President Gabe Albornoz, and Councilmember Will Jawando of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby proclaim September 2022 as National Preparedness Month and encourage all residents to develop their own emergency preparedness plan and work together toward creating a more prepared society. Signed this day, the 20th of September in the year 2022 by myself, the County Executive, and Council President on behalf of the entire council. Thank you all for all that you do.
Thank you. All right, let's take a picture.